All right, today we're jumping into a pretty huge idea, something called blue carbon. And the claim here is massive, that it's about to totally shake up the entire carbon market. So let's dive right in.
When you think about fighting climate change, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably, these huge, sprawling green forests. And that makes sense. But what if our most powerful tool wasn't a forest at all? What if it was actually a coastline?
Okay, so let's get into our first section here, the blue carbon promise. We're going to unpack exactly why this concept is being talked about as a new leader in the carbon market.
So the central claim from our source is actually pretty simple, but it's got some serious punch. The idea is that coastal ecosystems are set to become the leaders in the future of carbon credits. And just as a quick reminder, right, a carbon credit is basically a permit that represents 1 ton of CO2 taken out of the atmosphere. Companies buy these to offset their own emissions. So saying that coastlines are going to lead this market, that's a really bold statement. Let's dig into the evidence.
All right, first things first, what exactly is blue carbon? Let's nail down a quick definition.
Okay, so in a nutshell, blue carbon is all the carbon that gets sucked out of the atmosphere and then stored by the world's oceans and coastal ecosystems. Now, the entire ocean is part of this for sure, but for today, we're really zeroing in on those coastal powerhouses.
And when we talk about those powerhouses, our source highlights 2 real stars of the show: mangrove forests and seagrass meadows. And believe me, these aren't just pretty places to visit. They are absolute carbon-capturing machines. Which leads us perfectly into our next bit, the coastal superpower. So let's really get into why these ecosystems are so ridiculously effective at what they do.
All right, get ready for this because it's a real jaw-dropper. If there's one number you remember from this whole explainer, let it be this one, 4. Coastal ecosystems can lock away carbon up to 4 times faster than the forests on land. I mean, that's not just a little bit better, that is a total game changer.
And you can see that power perfectly right here.
I mean, look at the storage rate for a typical forest. Now look at the one for coastal ecosystems. It's not even a competition. This really drives home the incredible efficiency we're talking about.
But here's the thing. As mind-blowing as that speed is, the story doesn't stop there. Not even close. The real power of blue carbon goes way beyond just how fast it stores carbon. And frankly, this is where things get really interesting, especially from a market point of view.
Our source material calls it a co-benefit stack. Think of it like this. On the bottom layer, you've got that super fast carbon storage. Then you stack on another benefit, natural protection for coastlines against storms. Then another. They support this incredible biodiversity, serving as nurseries for fish or homes for sea turtles. And then, on top of all that, they create real, tangible benefits for the local communities. It's not just one thing, it's the whole package.
So the big question is, how does all that amazing ecological value translate into cold, hard cash in the market? Well, that brings us right to our next section, a future-proof credit. We're going to connect the dots between the ecology and the economics.
And this right here, this quote from our source, this is the key to the whole thing. It says that buyers are increasingly looking for credits that come with those extra biodiversity and community benefits. See, the market's evolving. People aren't just buying a ton of carbon anymore. They're buying a story. They're buying real, measurable impact.
And this really makes the difference crystal clear. On one hand, you have a standard carbon credit. It does one job and one job only, remove carbon. But on the other hand, you've got a blue carbon credit. It removes carbon, plus it protects coastlines, plus it boosts biodiversity, and it helps communities. I mean, if you were the one investing, which one would you choose? It kind of becomes a no-brainer, right?
And that's it right there. That multi-layered value, that stack of benefits we talked about, is exactly what makes these credits, as our source puts it, both highly valuable and future-proof. Why future-proof? Because they're resilient. They deliver value on so many different levels, which makes them a much smarter, more durable investment in the long run.
Okay, so let's put a bow on all of this. Our final section, why this matters. What's the big takeaway here? Really, it all comes down to this simple 3-step path to leading the market. Number 1, you've got superior performance. That's that incredible 4 times faster carbon storage. Can't argue with that. Number 2, you've got stacked value. You're not just buying one thing, you're getting a bundle of critical co-benefits. And number 3, it hits the bullseye on market demand. It aligns perfectly with what buyers actually want right now. Performance, value, demand. That is a winning combination. So, the bottom line from our source material is this. Blue carbon isn't just some feel-good environmental solution. It's a seriously strategic market investment, one that pays off financially, ecologically, and socially.
And that leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. As we all look for the best, most effective ways to fund the fight against climate change, you just have to wonder, is the future of climate investment going to be blue?